Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the special presentation ceremony to order. It's approximately 5:10 p.m. The first presentation is a recognition of Officer of the Month, Officer Jennifer Stevenson. Chief, Major, Colonel.
Good evening. On behalf of Chief Alexander Roll and the rest of the command staff and the City Council and City Manager, we want to welcome you to the presentation for the July 2016 Officer of the Month. And the Officer of the Month is going to be Officer Jennifer Stevenson. She earns this award due to an event on July 10th of 2016 at 01:11 hours. Officer Stevenson was on patrol where she observed a shooting in progress. One male and two males was in a dark alleyway, and one male shot the other one. She quickly got herself involved in a foot chase, disregarding her own safety as a concern for the safety of other citizens, and she began chasing this individual. She called up and set up a perimeter. The subject was quickly apprehended. She identified the subject, and she went back to assist the victim who was shot in the stomach. It was for that courageous event that she put herself again in harm's way that she earned the Officer of the Month for July 2016. In addition to that event, she handled 123 primary calls for service. She backed up officers on 61 calls, wrote 19 reports, investigated 2 traffic crashes, wrote 44 traffic citations, and made 4 arrests. A little bit more about Officer Stevenson. Back in November of 2014, she went through the basic police officer motorcycle officers course. She successfully passed it and became the City of Homestead's first ever female motorcycle officer. From there, she became a part-time traffic officer with the police department, and then in October of 2016, she became a full-time member of the traffic enforcement unit, and she also conducts accident investigations. Congratulations.
Officer Stevenson would like to present you with this certificate of recognition. Basically, it says, with gratitude, we thank you for your distinguished service above and beyond the call of duty. The City of Homestead salutes you, and all of the council members are included, and we really appreciate Chief, your whole team. We go on and on and on about, you guys are the guys and girls that line in the sand for us, and we very grateful to the whole department for what you do, and it's nice to be able to honor the best, your best and brightest at least once a month. So with that, Officer, thank you so much.
Just to say a few words and I'll let us speak. The Homestead was incorporated in 1913, and as Captain John said earlier, this is the first female traffic officer we had. Since 1913. That's a long time, and it's well overdue. But I know she probably thinks that we forget about a lot of things, but she had to go through a lot of hurdles to get where she's at today, and she worked very hard. She came in and she everything we asked her to do, she did it. She waited her time. She went through a lot of family tragedy. At the same time, she stayed focused. She had good support. Where's your mom? Where's your mom? Mom, you from here? everyone that came for her, please come up, because this is a special moment. I know I shouldn't have said anything. I definitely didn't want to make her cry, because this is a special day for her. But she knew what I'm talking about. You know, we had a lot of talks, and she went to a lot of hurdles to get where she's at today. And I'm proud of her, and my command staff is definitely proud of her, along with the mayor and council. She's done a tremendous job for this department. She continued to come in every day. She's focused. She does her job. And that's all we ask. Police officers come in and be professional, do their job, and just maintain the professionalism like she's done over the years. So again, coming in from being the young lady that you were when I first met you, to be where you're at today, along with your mom, and everybody today, you've done an outstanding job. Keep up the good work, because it's not over. It's not over.
We're proud of you.
We're definitely proud of you. So thank you so much.
So quickly.
I want to just say a few words. She's kind of tough. I want to say a few words because it's her time.
I don't even know where to begin, other than thank you, Chief, Captains, Colonel, Major. Thank you for everything. Council members, thank you, Mayor. Thank you for everything and the opportunities that you've given me. I appreciate everything.
I need to take a picture, so I shut this down for right now. And earn this with dignity and pride. You deserve it. With your mom. Anybody want to take a picture with us? Come down. History is made today. Tonight, I should say. This is history. It's a Homestead. Can you get everybody?
I'm trying.
Mom.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you for your shot.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. Next item is Mr. Shelley, Main Street recognition and Parks staff, Parks and Recreation staff recognition.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to invite up Yvonne Knowles from Homestead Main Street. She'd like to do a presentation to Homestead's Parks and Rec staff for the great job that they've done and all the events that Main Street puts on, but I think more specifically the recent Christmas tree lighting we just had. So I'll turn the floor over to you, Yvonne.
Thank you so much, Councilman. This is something that probably should have been occurring for every year. Oh, pardon me.
Thank you. This is something that should have occurred for every event we've had for the past 10 years, because Park and Rec has been there for us for every one of our events. And this year, they really had some major challenges, why we specifically wanted to recognize their efforts. But first off, I would like to introduce you to the Promotions Committee for Homestead Main Street, Catherine Smith, everybody knows Bonnie King Moran, and Bertha Lopez. And two ladies are missing today, Susan Dreyer and Barbara Nuske. But these are ladies who really make it happen on the volunteer side of Main Street. And without the help and the support of Park and Rec, we could not pull off some of these events. For those who did attend our holiday in Losner Park on December the 2nd. Is anybody here who was there? Thank you. Yes. It was a tremendous night. We had hundreds of children coming to see Santa and Mrs. Claus. We had 3 movies in the park. We had a stage extravaganza on Losner Stage. It was wonderful. But that morning at 10 o'clock, we were faced with some major challenges. The back lot had been recently dug up, and I kept saying, we have little ballerinas coming in our tutus, and there's mud everywhere. And the guys came forward and helped us, and by the time 5 o'clock came, that park was meticulously cleaned up. Everything was in place, and we were so grateful. So to show our gratitude, Mr. Maytown, I would like to present to the members of Park and Rec. We have plaques for each one of them, and Mr. Maytown will be representing Park and Rec because I understand most of the guys cannot be here today. And the plaques read, "We express our sincere appreciation for Homestead Park and Recreation's important role in making Main Street's Holiday in Losner Park on December 2nd, 2016, a successful event. Thank you on behalf of the members of Main Street and the hundreds of families who came out to enjoy this annual event. We are all very grateful." And I'd like to read off the names of the people who are part of that team. Mr. Pedro Ronaldo, Mr. James Long, Mr. Tracy Moore of Supervisor of Water and Sewer, Mr. Milton Dixon, Mr. Kawani Jones, Mr. Louis Ledesma? Louis?
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
I know.
Lazaro Pradas from.
Yeah. Is Lazaro here? Lazaro, please come here. We would like to give you a plaque also. Mr. Bernardo Montanaro, Mr. Fritz Noel Florent, and Mr. Leandra Agustav from Park and Rec. And now Mr. Lazaro Prada, who did all the amazing work with hanging all the decorations from the lift truck, which without that wouldn't have been possible. And all the children from Italo Montessori made those decorations, and they really wanted to see them up on that stage. So thanks to Homestead Energy, that was possible. So, Mr. Fraga, thank you very much for your participation. We appreciate it very much. So, you'll make sure all these get there. So thank you very much. On behalf of Homestead Main Street, thank you. Homestead FOP, you're there for us every time. Homestead Park and Rec, Mayor and Council, you support us tremendously too. So thank you on behalf of Main Street, and happy holidays and Merry Christmas to all.
Thank you, Yvonne. The next item is Pastor in the Spotlight, Mr. Williams.
Thank you so much, Mayor and Council, and to my colleagues that share the dais with me, to those of you who are here in the audience. It gives me great delight to present a person in the proud personality of Pastor Joseph Reginald, who is an integral part of our community. I want to invite him up now. What we do, what my office try to do, is to recognize those leaders who have gone the extra mile. And most of you who may not know Pastor Reginald is that he's a fierce advocate for the Haitian community. He's very passionate about the people, and he's very passionate as a pastor in this community. I have seen his work over the years and just volunteering with the city. And so I thought it not robbery to place him or to recommend him to be appointed on the Southwest Advisory Board. And so Pastor Joseph, come on up. And if you have a family member that's here with you, that they will be able to share in this recognition. Because I believe that the tremendous amount of work that he has done in this community, whether it doesn't matter what race, creed, ethnicity, he is there, and especially for his community. And so I thought it not robbery to honor him today, and for his tremendous work in the Haitian community, and now also not only in the Haitian community but in Homestead. And we want to let you know that you have made a tremendous impact by what you do every day, by waking up and doing the things that are incredible to help the quality of life here in Homestead, and also to help the people in Homestead. So we say thank you, and we salute you for what you have done. And this is just a small token of appreciation. This is a journal for you to memorialize some of your writings or your sermons or whatever thought process you may be going through at the time. To maybe you can look back over a few years and see how far you've come. And it says, Pastor Joseph Reginald, in recognition of the important ministry you have provided our community, Councilman Jimmy L. Williams III, December 15, 2016. So congratulations, Pastor, and congratulations for you and your work and your congregation, what you do. We'll allow you a moment to share something with us.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. I want to say thank you to the council, Mayor and Council, for allowing us to be here and receiving this award. Thank you for everybody else here tonight to be part of this. Be part of the city since 1998. It's a great city. And there's always something and someone in need, and you always have ways that you can have an impact. And being Haitian in this community, and especially working with the farm workers, it's always a challenge to help those in need. But it's always a pleasure because there's more blessing in giving than receiving. So being part of this community and helping out in any way that we can, it's our dream and it's our pleasure. And I hope that anyone that can be part of this work and endeavor to help this city to become greater than it is already, it's a great thing. So thank you very much, Councilman Williams, and everyone else that allowed me to be part of this great city. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And if you'll just step over here to with your token of appreciation, just step over here, we get a few pictures. And we know the devastation that has happened to Haiti, and Pastor Joseph have been a key ally in trying to make sure that we get recognition to those who are in need. And so for that tremendous work, we are very appreciative. So thank you again, Pastor. I want Pastor to go home tonight, right? I don't want him to be on the couch.
I'm very sorry I didn't have the privilege to take the time to present my beautiful wife. This is Dominique Joseph. And she's always on my side, and there's nothing I can do without her on my side because she's my sidekick in everything that I do. Thank you for being part of me.
All right. Here, Pastor. Pastor. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Thank you. That's the last item on the presentation ceremony, so we'll adjourn this meeting and we'll go to our regular council meeting starting at 6 o'clock. Thank you all. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the December 21, 2016 council meeting to order. It's approximately 6:02 p.m. This evening we'll have the invocation by Pastor Michael Stiles, pastor of St. Paul Missionary Baptist Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, Councilman Ross. We don't have the Explorers tonight, so the flag is to our right and obviously to your left. Could you all please stand?
Gracious Father, we come to you on this beloved afternoon, Father, first of all, just to say thank you. We're asking as we enter into council, Father, that you be our wise God who guides us and leads us for the betterment of this community and for the well-being of business at hand. We ask that your presence be in here with us. Allow us, Father God, to come together and to be able to unite, Father, for the well-being of this community and most of all for the future. We give you great honor. We give you great honor. We give you great praise right now for all that you've allowed us to be able to overcome. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me as we honor our symbol of freedom. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Shelley. Councilman Maldonado. Councilman Williams.
Here.
Councilman Ross.
Here.
Councilman Burgess. Vice Mayor Faircloth.
Here.
Mayor Porter.
Here. Any additions, deletions, deferrals? Mr. Manager, anyone? None? Tab 1 is the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, tab 4. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Going to the legislative matters, Mr. Attorney.
Ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the budgets for the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2015 and ending September 30th, 2016 by increasing the total budgeted revenues and expenditures by $2,319,482, providing for a repealer, severability, and an effective date.
Report from staff, Mr. Manager.
Staff recommends mayor and council approve the attached ordinance to increase revenue and expenses from the general fund in the amount of $2,319,482. In April 2016, the city transferred $2,319,482 to the CRA pursuant to both city and CRA resolutions to allow the CRA to repay a loan from the city. This is a housekeeping item to adjust the fiscal year 16 budget to reflect this transaction.
Questions from council, Mr. Williams?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mr. Manager, exactly from this repayment, what would these funds be? Just, are they already have been encumbered, allocated to any project or anything of that nature?
Oh, it's our intention to ask for this money to be designated for the library project, which will be roughly $16 million. And so part of that budget would be these funds.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Any other questions from council? This is a public hearing. I'll open up the public hearing at this time. I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments? Is there a motion? Moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Burgess.
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado. Councilman Williams.
Yes.
Councilman Ross.
Yes.
Councilman Shelley. Vice Mayor Faircloth.
Yes.
Mayor Porter.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 13.
This is an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the budgets for each of the several funds and departments of the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2016 and ending September 30th, 2017 by increasing the total budgeted revenues and expenditures by $13,685,692, providing for a repealer, severability, and an effective date.
Mr. Manager.
The purpose of this amendment is to roll the amounts encumbered primarily for ongoing capital projects as fiscal year end 2016 into the current fiscal year's budget. This amendment is done annually during the month of November. It's now December, so this is the second reading. Staff recommends mayor and council approve the amend the fiscal year 2017 budget for various funds as per the attached schedule.
Questions from council on tab 13? These are just rollover projects. Second, it's nothing new, nothing big. It's all just rollovers. This is a public hearing. Any comments, questions from the council? From the community? Close the public hearing. Any final comments? Is there a motion?
Move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Roth? Yes. Councilman Williams? Yes. Councilman Burgess? Yes. Councilman Shelley? Yes. Councilman Maldonado? Yes. Vice Mayor Faircloth?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 14.
This is an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the budgets for the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2016, and ending September 30th, 2017, by increasing the total budgeted revenues and expenditures by $500,000, providing for a repealer, severability, and an effective date.
Mr. Manager.
Mayor, this is a second reading. The purpose of this amendment is to appropriate the use of $500,000 being transferred in from the CRA for professional services for the library project. Staff recommends mayor and the council approve and amend the fiscal year 2017 budget for the general fund by $500,000 for both revenues and expenditures.
Questions from council, Mr. Williams?
Yes. George, what is the purpose of just moving it to the CRA if it's already in the general fund?
The purpose was, well, the funds originated in the CRA, and when they're moved to the general fund, in order to be expended, they actually need to amend the budget in order to authorize those funds.
Okay, that's maybe what I'm not clear about. Could you explain that to me again? You're saying the funds were generated through the CRA
Correct.
and given to the general fund,
For the purpose of professional services for the library project.
and now you need to give that back to the CRA?
No. Go ahead, Carlos.
Go ahead, Carlos.
Okay. As the manager basically said, is the transfer of the funds were from the CRA to the general fund. So in the general fund, we needed to appropriate these expenditures, recognize the revenues coming in, and to appropriate the expenditures so that they could be used for the professional services that they were intended.
That they were what?
That they were intended for. I think there was a separate car item where the professional services for these monies had been approved already.
From the general fund?
Yes, sir.
You're moving it to the CRA?
Sorry?
Moving it into the CRA?
No.
You're moving it from?
The money came from the CRA into the general fund where it's being expended.
Okay, all right. And this is for the library?
Right.
All right. And then the breakdown, how many, who will be the professional services persons that will, is it going straight to one company or what?
Yeah, that was authorized by Landmark Entertainment, was for the design, and then there's an architectural firm as well, DLR.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Is there any other comments or questions from council? This is a public hearing. You're welcome to come and ask questions, speak at this time. I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments? Is there a motion? Moved. Is there a second? Seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Yes. Councilman Shelley? Yes. Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Faircloth?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 15.
This is an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending Chapter 2, Administration of the City of Homestead Code of Ordinances by amending Section 2-411.2 Cone of Silence, creating an exception from the Cone of Silence for contract negotiations conducted by city staff with proposers of public-private partnerships, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date.
Mr. Manager.
Mayor, this is a second reading. From time to time, the city entertains proposals to enter into a public-private partnership. As a result, it has become apparent it would be in the best interest of the city to allow the city manager and/or his designees to negotiate and close meetings with representatives of the entities proposing a P3 while still under the cone of silence in order to secure the best possible agreement for the city prior to bringing the item to the council for approval. Staff recommends the mayor and council approve the attached ordinance revising Section 2-411.2 Cone of Silence of the City of Homestead Code of Ordinances to allow an exception to the cone of silence for negotiations between city staff and individuals or representatives of the entities proposing entering into an agreement for a P3 with the city in accordance with Section 255.065 Florida statute.
Questions from council? I'll open up the public hearing at this time. You're welcome to come forward and ask questions, speak on this. Close the public hearing. Any final comments? Is there a motion? Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Roth. Yes. Councilman Maldonado. Yes. Councilman Burgess.
Yes.
Councilman Williams. Vice Mayor Fairclough.
Yes.
Mayor Porter.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 16. Mr. Manager? Mr. Attorney?
An ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the budget for the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2016, and ending September 30th, 2017, by increasing the total budgeted revenue and expenditures by $3,865,000, providing for a repealer, severability, and an effective date.
Mr. Manager?
Mayor, this is related to the CDBG Section 108 loan for the library project. The application was approved by HUD September 19th, 2016, and this budget amendment is for the establishment of the capital project fund equal to the amount of the loan. Staff recommends mayor and council approve and amend the estimated revenues appropriations to establish the Library Capital Project Fund for fiscal year 2017 budget as per attached Exhibit 1.
Are there any questions from council? This is a public hearing. I'll open up the public hearing at this time. You're welcome to come forward. Close the public hearing. Final comments from council. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Burgess.
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado. Yes. Councilman Roth.
Yes.
Councilman Williams. Yes. Councilman Shelley.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fairclough.
Yes.
Mayor Porter.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 17.
Pursuant to Chapter 10 Elections, Section 10-10 of the City of Homestead Code of Ordinances, the city clerk is required to present a certification of election results to the city council at the first council meeting following the election. The November 8th, 2016 Charter Amendment election, special election results are hereby filed with the mayor and council. The results are attached as Exhibit 2.
Questions from council? Mr. Burgess?
Thank you. I guess my question would be to the clerk. There were several numbers that came out, and then we ended up at this number. So was this a hand count that ended up at this number, or was this just run back through the machine, or what, with it being so close? Because at one time, the yeses were plus 15, I believe, and then they went down to 12, then the 7, and then when it came back after the final count, it was a nay of 2 that decided
According to the
results.
results from the Elections Department, Councilman, it's considered a manual count.
Okay. Okay.
So much for your vote doesn't count, right?
Very odd results there, but anyway, thank you, Mayor. I just was wondering because it went back and forth, and even on election night, there were different results that were popping up as they were doing things, so thank you.
Any other questions from council? This is a public hearing certifying the election results. You're welcome to come forward. I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments? Is there a motion? Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Maldonado? Yes. Councilman Burgess? No. Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Williams? Councilman Roth? Vice Mayor Fairclough? Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 18.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving an agreement for architectural and engineering services with DLR Group, Inc., providing for implementation, providing for an effective date.
Mr. Manager.
Mayor, at the November 16, 2016 council meeting, mayor and council authorized the city manager to enter into negotiations with the highest-ranked firm, DLR Group, for architectural and engineering services for the library project. DLR will provide initial preliminary design services for architecture, structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and will prepare initial project development drawings using conceptual design concepts developed by the Landmark Entertainment Group. Staff recommends mayor and council approve the attached resolution authorizing city manager to enter into an agreement with DLR Group for preliminary design services for the library project. The proposal is a lump sum fee of $70,000 plus reimbursable expenses to be invoiced monthly of a percentage complete basis.
Questions from council? Tab 18. Vice Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just curious, to me, this cost seems a bit open-ended. because of the $70,000 plus reimbursable expenses. But I was reading the accompanying documents to determine what the reimbursable expenses would be, and I didn't see that. Can you clarify that?
Sure. Julio?
Reimbursable charges are usually for preparation of copies of documents, travel expenses, and those sort of things. We don't expect that there will be too much on this contract. This is just one of many different proposals that will come forward from this company. It's just a very first phase, which is to do the preliminary work and do the site analysis, and they will be back with further proposals in the future that will add up for the completion of the whole design project. So this is just a very small portion of it. And of course, after this gets developed, they'll have a better idea on what the rest of the cost is going to be for the full design. And in that will be more closed-ended at that point, and we'll make sure that we're within the budget. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Mr. Williams?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is a upfront lump sum, 70 grand, right? So there's no payment structure. What happens if we don't like their services? We've already given them all of the money.
This is not an upfront payment. This is paid based on a monthly draw of, I think it's a 5-month period that the project's going to be on. It's on a percentage basis. So they'll be paid for the work that they do.
But in the card, it says it proposes for a lump sum fee of 70 plus reimbursement.
Yeah, it's a lump sum, but it's not upfront lump sum. It's lump sum, but paid in a progress basis, based on work performed. But $70,000 is the total price for this particular task.
So, and then they're going to bill an additional 15% of administrative fees.
No, that's included in the $70,000.
And what other work have they done in terms of something of this nature, what we're asking them to do? And where are they located? They're out in Los Angeles?
They have offices throughout the United States. Their central offices in California, but they do have offices in Florida, in Orlando, in Fort Lauderdale, and in Miami. So.
And have they done work like this before?
They have done extensive work on this type of design. They've done, for example, work at the AAA arena. They've done work at many amusement parks and those type of operations. So they are definitely, during the selection process, they were the ones that were ranked the highest of all the firms.
May I make a suggestion in going future tense here, is that when you all have these persons with this, what they're doing, is that you would provide a kind of bio of what projects they have done in the past to help us, or to help me, to see exactly apples to apples, to see exactly what they have done as relates to what we're asking them to do. Then to us to accept something and we don't know until you tell us. I like to have that in writing of what they have done.
Correct. And during the selection process, when we put this out as an RFQ, all the companies.
As a part of our packet, you're talking about a different process. But I'm
Yeah,
saying when you
it was
presented-
the one we did last month, basically.
But when you presented the whole packet to us today, all of that should have been included.
Understood.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, sir?
No, sir, thank you.
This is a public hearing. Anyone would like to speak, you're welcome to come forward at this time. Tab 18. Yes, sir. Name and address, please, sir, for the record. Thank you.
I'm sorry?
Nate, just your name and address for the record.
Javier MacDonald.
Yes, sir.
19451 Southwest, 234th Street. I'd like to ask, how many citizens of Homestead that are not in the government voted for or want the library?
It wasn't a vote. Is that?
But they're building libraries, but did the community ask for a library to be built?
We didn't, it wasn't sent to the voter, no.
Okay, good enough.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Close the comment section. Any final comments from council? Is there a motion? Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Williams? Councilman McDonald? Maldonado, sorry? Councilman Shelley? Councilman Burgess? Vice Mayor Fairclough?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 19.
Councilman John Burgess respectfully requests the council approve the attached resolution co-designating Northwest First Street between Maury Drive and Northwest Second Avenue as Sergeant Tony Koga III Street.
Hold on just a second. You want to handle that under your business, John, or you want to handle it here now? You guys okay with taking care of it out of his business? Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Manager. Could you do that again, or Mr. Burgess?
Because there's a typo in the, as written on the agenda.
Okay.
It's a resolution of the city council.
Hold on, you turn your mic on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, designating Northwest First Avenue between Maury Drive and Northwest Second Street as Sergeant Tony Koga III Street in honor of City of Homestead Police Officer Tony Koga, providing for implementation, providing for an effective date.
Mr. Burgess?
Thank you. As we all know, in April of 2012, we dedicated Southwest First Street to Sergeant Tony Koga, who was killed in the, or died from the results of in the line of duty as doing police work. As our redevelopment takes place downtown, I was driving by there one day and realized that that road was no longer going to be used by the PD and possibly would be covered over with our projects. So I got in touch with the chief and his command staff, and we have went over there, and what we thought would be an appropriate area to redesignate would be from Maury Drive northwest, going north on Northwest First Avenue to Second Street, which is the road that's going to be directly in front of the police department now, the new police department. And we thought that that would be an appropriate spot to move, to redesignate, and I was hoping that we could get support from the council to do this, as it takes a resolution to move it. So that's where I'm at on this.
Yes, sir. Questions from council? This is a public hearing. Mr. Williams?
You're saying, Councilman Burgess, that the new street that is in front of the police station,
Correct. It goes from Maury, the new quote-unquote driveway.
driveway, just that part?
Right. And it will go from Maury Drive up Northwest First to their back gate, or their northern gate, which will be Second Street.
So it encompass really the police department area?
Correct.
Oh, okay. No, thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other questions from council? Open up the public hearing at this
Mr.
time.
Shelley's got one.
Mr. Shelley? Mr. Shelley, sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a question. We're in the process of the changing of the downtown. So would this take effect immediately and they would move the sign where it currently is? Or would there be code designations until the complete construction is done
Well-
from one to the other?
My idea is we do the grand opening over there and they get moved in, perhaps we could do something simultaneously or soon thereafter, or something to that effect. It wouldn't, and then it would take effect after they're over there.
Okay. Because my big question was just a matter of we're going to have two streets simultaneously named
No, we
at
would,
the
we
same
would,
time.
we would move one,
the
we would
old one
move
to the
it,
new.
correct.
At
And
this- okay.
Either wait for them to get in and do it shortly thereafter, or
Okay, great.
if everybody's in agreement and with the manager and everybody, then maybe we do it the same day as we do the ribbon cutting or grand opening over there.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Williams?
I'm off.
All done. Okay, this is a public hearing. I open up the public hearing. Yes, sir.
Kim Hill, live in Homestead. I have nothing against Mr. Koga being able to get this street named after him, but my problem is with the rationale behind the city council. I want you all to be consistent in one sense. This is an officer. I'm quite sure he was working in the line of duty and trying to help the public, but at the same time, when our citizens go down in the line of fire and we ask for transparency, you all don't put any resolutions. When citizens step up and say, hey, We would like body cameras, you know, to be able to help us out, to be able to help officers out, to be able to help the citizens out. You all turn a blind eye when it comes to that, but you quick. You don't waste, you don't hesitate at all. There's no difference between an officer's life and a citizen's life. There's no difference. You know, there's a mother crying in each incident. So my thing is, let's be quick to use that same line of rationale when we ask just for simple body cameras, just to be able to place it on the agenda. You all have turned a blind eye, but yet you want us to cry the crocodile tears. Yes, Mr. Koga deserves this street. I have no problem with it. But yes, the other citizens deserve an opportunity for transparency. Yes, the other citizens deserve to not see their city council members act as political whores for the PBA and just acquiesce to the needs of police officers. We need this to be equal. We're asking for our citizens. We're asking for every life to be dear. That's my thing.
Yes, sir. Any other public comments? Yes, sir. Only one at a time, please. Please.
We together. We the unbreakable chains of faith. We knew him for years. You just meeting up.
What's
Matter
the
of fact,
what's
you
the-
didn't meet us
What's
yet.
the policy, Mr.
Jermaine.
One at a time?
You
just
didn't
one
meet
at a
us yet, but we the unbreakable chains of faith. We was here before you
Well,
got elected.
Our policy is
Come
one
on.
at a time.
Okay, I'll handle it.
One at a time, please.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Pastor Barry Softly. I'm from the Unbreakable Chains of Faith. How you doing, Mr. Roth, Mr. Williams, Mr. Maldonado? Okay. I have here my Florida non-for-profit. We're an outreach, a Homestead outreach, in the state of Florida, and a 501c3 non-for-profit with the government. I have recommendations here from Dwight Bullard, Mr. Gretzow. Oh, Wendy Lobos, with a blast from the past.
Is this-
I have from
Is this
Jimmy
in regard,
Williams.
is this in
Hold on.
regard to this particular item of the street naming?
I would like to meet with you. You can ask me all the questions at the meeting, but you never answer. I'm just here because I'm gonna talk about the officer. I want to give him his honor. I am.
Okay.
And I want to pray for his family comfort in this time, and I hope that they, that God is taking care of them. But I have another one from Mr. Shelley. Now, my facility is there, and the gentleman was just talking about transparency for the city, the citizens, and we take the homeless off the street. I've been here more than once. I spoke to everybody who would have a meeting with me. Mr. Roth, thank you for the last one. Mr. Porter, I'm still waiting. It's just some of the pictures, the busways, Chrome Avenue. This is Homestead. We bring up the property value, okay? So that we can invite corporations and businesses into our community, and that the displaced will be properly treated, okay? What we're looking for is some support from the city. I don't have your recommendation, Mr. Maldonado, and I've been looking for it. You've been right around the corner from us. I'll set up a meeting with you. What we're trying to do is get some support from the city. We're not state. We would be probably a faith-based ministry considered church, but we help the state. We take all, no religion, no, don't matter your background, veterans, handicapped, whatever. But we get them out of our community so that we can progress, okay? We respect our community and we respect its leaders. But we need more attention, we need some support, and I would love to meet with you, Mr. Porter, and I would like to continue to work with the CRA, who of this far haven't, been so supportive either. They switch up the directors.
Let me ask you, Pastor, what's your position on renaming of the street for this police
My
officer?
position is, it's a great move. But even Northwest First, we've been there to get the homeless, to take them off of our streets. Wherever you put a police officer's street at, the Unbreakable Chains of Faith have been there. We've been all over. We help families in homelessness prevention. We do an array of services that's important in our community with all of the migrant families, low-income families, seasonal workers. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's why I just came to speak, and, you know, happy holidays to everybody. And I'll put in for another meeting with you, Mr. Porter, and for the rest of the lovely leaders in Homestead and great leaders in Homestead. Ms. Fairclough?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to speak in reference to this particular item of the renaming of the street? Close the public hearing at this time. Any other final comments or questions? Is there a motion? Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Fairclough?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
The next item was with tab 20, Mr. Burgess, a draft proposal for moratorium.
You want to read it?
This is an ordinance, actually, an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, establishing a temporary 12-month moratorium on the submittal process, issuance, and approval of any application for local business tax receipts, certificates of occupancy, land use and zoning revenues, development applications, land use or zoning development orders for the establishment or operation of medical marijuana facilities as further defined herein, providing for construction, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Mr. Burgess.
Thank you, Mayor. Once again, some of this information was brought to me at the Florida League of Cities while I was up there. I think it was, 2 weeks ago, where I was at a conference and a board meeting. And it's one of their priorities as they move forward to the state legislators this year is to try to get some relief. But what has come to my attention is that, there are no ground rules, game rules, or any laws set for this yet. And people are inquiring about it. So that makes me a little bit nervous as to since we don't know what the rules are going to be set by the legislators. I thought it might be a good thing for us to be a little proactive and to hold this up for a year, which we could go back and revisit as we wanted to, but at least put ourselves in a position to wait, see what the legislators are going to pass as their rules and laws for the dispensaries to who's allowed to do what and that. And I think that there's a lot of work on our behalf to do it too. What would be hours of operation, how many of them, where do we want them, and things like that. So before people just started bombarding the city and trying to get these businesses put in place, I thought it might be good and the prudent thing for us to hold off and maybe put a 12-month moratorium out there. As we try to revitalize and change things around, the last thing I would hate to see is an abundance of these things popping up on Chrome Avenue or something in some of the strip malls or anywhere in town. Because we don't have any rules, and as they come down here, they may want to do that. Another point that was brought up at the League of Cities was the impact that it's going to have on the public safety and the cost it's going to be. And in fact, one of the things that they're going to push for, and that I'm going to go up and testify about most likely, is the cost to the public safety, what it does, and we're going to be looking for monies to come out of a special fund up there that cities or municipalities around the state are going to be able to go into, kind of like a grant system, to help them to fund the monies that they have to spend on this. Because if you look at Oregon, Washington, and Colorado, there's been, when they've done these rollouts, there's been some issues and some large expenditures by municipalities as they try to work out the kinks and figure it all out and keep order to it. So that, and if you want to speak for a minute about what you guys, I know that I asked and told you guys, and everybody on the dais has been given a copy of the report from the police, from the chief's office. It's the Florida Police Chiefs Association, and they've got a lot of recommendations and questions that they're going to be going to the legislators with this year. What's going to be a legal limit that people are going to drive on, and what's going to be the rules for people that are caught, driving illegally and crimes are committed that they may be on and things like that. And one of the things that we talked about yesterday was having to have recognition officers. So we're going to have to send people out for training too, because if there's a car wreck or somebody's pulled over, just like a DUI squad, people are going to have to be able to, our professionals in the police department are going to be able to have to identify and figure out what, if they're under the influence from the medical marijuana or what. So there's a lot of questions and a lot of things that are still out there. And I know that we had talked about it maybe a year ago, I think, or a year and a half ago, and we kind of waited because there was nothing really happening. But it has happened, and I think it would be the most prudent thing for us now at this point to put a moratorium in place and then maybe have a workshop down the road once the rules are set by the state. So any questions, or if the chief wanted to make a comment on behalf of the public safety issues that we talked about, Chief, feel free.
Thank you, Councilman Burgess. We had a conversation yesterday about this, and we had some research done on this, and I had Captain Washington to do a lot of legwork about this medical marijuana. And she can give you a few words. I'm going to step aside and let us tell you what she found out, and we'll go from there. Okay.
And just a reminder, as our attorney reminded, this is just a discussion item tonight. It would have to come back to us in January for a vote.
Go ahead, Captain.
Mayor, council members, the police department is in support if you all decide to put in place the temporary moratoriums to ban the medical marijuana dispensaries at this particular time until the department can do a thorough research and see what the impact would be with regards to crime on the community, as well as taxing the department with additional expenses.
Mr. Burgess, anything?
I see some questions down there from my colleagues.
Okay, Mr. Shelley?
Thank you, Mayor. No, one of the things the Councilman Burgess raised is I know that when this first was on the horizon, probably 2 years ago or so now, I know we had I think a workshop at that time, or maybe it was part of a CAL, but a fairly lengthy presentation and discussion about being proactive, getting ahead, making sure that we understood or controlled where, how, and when some of these types of dispensaries could be placed. And then somewhere along the line, it failed, I think, the first time around. And then this time, it hasn't been on our radar for whatever reason. But have you received any clarity from a legal perspective at this point, or are things still pretty fuzzy as far as how it might look and what our rights might be? Because I know at one time it was the discussion that, essentially they'll preempt us. Just about anything we want to do, they'll preempt. But do we have the ability, do we even know yet if we have the ability to regulate this? Do we have the ability to generate revenues from any of these dispensaries and anything to that effect?
I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. Yes, your memory's right. In 2014, I brought to you all a PowerPoint presentation which structured and laid out where the state was heading with regards to medical marijuana legislation. At that time, there was a pending constitutional amendment in 2014, and so you all decided to wait until after that proposed amendment to see exactly where and what you all wanted to do. That constitutional amendment failed, but in 2014, the legislature did act and adopted the Compassionate Medical Marijuana Use Act, which allowed for low THC marijuana, but only for a very small limited class of illnesses. That didn't go as far as most people in the state had wanted or assumed it would. And so as a result of that failed constitutional amendment, immediately there was a campaign to put a subsequent constitutional amendment on the ballot for medical marijuana, which was placed on this 2016 ballot and did pass. In the interim, in 2016, the legislature made some modifications and amendments to the original legislation that opened it up a tiny bit more, but not much. In that legislation, it said that basically, any type of manufacturer or grow facility, the regulations for those would be preempted to the state, but that local governments would be able to regulate dispensaries. So there's no rules adopted yet, so we just had this constitutional amendment that was passed. The state has to adopt rules and legislation with regards to licensing, how those dispensaries are going to work. So it would be prudent for us to see what comes out of that 2017 legislative session so that we could include, if need be, those regulations in anything we adopt, if we decide to adopt anything. So this moratorium basically just puts everything on ice, gives us an opportunity to study, to look at it, to see what happens with the 2017 legislation, and to either totally prohibit under federal law, or to regulate, or something in between. So we are not allowed to tax it, so we can't make any money off of it. The state might choose to, but we as a local government can't have any taxes on it or receive any revenue from it.
Okay. And primarily, this moratorium, as I understand it, is really the zoning side of it, is the dispensary side of it. It has nothing to do with the choice or the legislation that was passed, or the constitutional amendment, the personal choice that someone might have as far as using it for medical purposes under the enunciated possibilities. This is strictly about where, when, and how, no different than businesses or anybody else that we zone and regulate. Is that correct?
Right, this covers everything. This covers the grow facility, this covers a manufacturer facility, and a dispensary, all collectively defined as a medical marijuana facility.
Correct.
Doesn't have anything to do with those who may or may not have been qualified.
Correct.
Or who have a card to get medical marijuana as it currently exists in the state. We don't have any grow facilities here. Those nurseries were approved. The nursery that was approved, 2 of them, were unincorporated Miami-Dade County. So currently, there's no facilities in the city of Homestead. But most municipalities have already put on their books that it's prohibited, or they've regulated it in some way, or they adopted a moratorium to give them the ample opportunity and breathing time to see what comes out of the 2017 legislation to develop.
Perfect. No, I just wanted to make sure, because from the zoning standpoint, as far as, where, how, no different than a school, no different than any other type of business we might regulate to determine where it makes sense for them in a zoning category, but that this wasn't otherwise affecting anybody. This moratorium would otherwise affect anybody's rights as they currently exist to receive any medical help or treatment that they need to from the marijuana that they might obtain.
Correct.
So, all right. And I support moving forward with the moratorium, or at least with the discussion and the actual proposal of a resolution.
That's all, Ms. Shelley. Mr. Williams?
If someone was coming in tomorrow to obtain a license, what would you tell them? Because obviously this is just discussion, so we don't have anything in place. What would we tell them?
We would tell them, we would currently take the position that it's not allowed in the city and that it's preemptive and it's illegal under federal law.
So how would you do that in the next 12 months? You tell them the same story?
Well, until you all direct otherwise, that's what we're saying.
You're saying we would trump the federal law to say that it's not permissible. But yet, in another 12 months after discussion, to say it will be permissible where, as it relates to zoning, then it won't be under federal law. We won't be able to use that.
Well, it's a very interesting and complicated web of federal law and
here's
state
my-
law
here's my
and
thing.
municipal law.
If you say that, we will be in conflict in what we're asking to do tonight, is to look at this, and then you would use that spiel to tell them that until this is passed. My concern is that what are we saying tomorrow as it relates to that, and then 12 months later, we're going to be saying something different. Would we be under some kind of suit because of that going forward? Because I don't see how you can use that today and then 12 months later, it's still
illegal under federal law, how can we use it then?
I'm not sure I follow
Right.
what
I
you're trying to
understand.
say,
Let me tell you what I'm saying. You're saying tomorrow somebody walk in, you're gonna use, what did you tell me? You're gonna tell them what? You're gonna say
Not
that it's
permitted
not
in the city of
permissible,
Homestead.
and because of what? What statute, what law you gonna quote to them?
It's a
federal
controlled,
law.
it's a controlled substance it's a controlled substance under federal law, and it's a prohibited substance under federal law.
So 12 months from now, would it still be?
Yeah, it still will be.
It still will be, so.
Well, let me take that back. The federal legislature, under the new administration, could remove it as a class illegal drug from the Controlled Substance Act, and it might not be a problem under federal law.
Wait,
I don't know.
Assuming if it is 12 months from today, then how can we say that tomorrow is illegal and then 12 months from now, we have place of dispensaries here in Homestead?
Well, it's an interesting question, but you would be following the Florida Constitution, and you would be following the Florida law. And there's executive memos that have been issued by the Obama administration with regards to medical marijuana, whereby the direction to the Department of Justice at this point is that it's a state issue, and the federal government is not going to enforce marijuana laws, prohibition laws, and they're going to leave it on a state-by-state basis.
Right.
That's the federal government's position at this juncture.
Okay. It's just it's conflicting. And I think if you're going to do that, then what will be your stance 12 months now if the law is still the same? I just have an issue with that aspect of what we're trying to do. So hopefully we can get a better answer. If somebody was coming to apply for it, what will be how would we be able to say no to them if the state law has already given them mandate to be able to do this?
The state law hasn't given them yet. State law hasn't implemented. The constitutional amendment was just approved. The state has to enact legislation to implement the constitutional amendment, which we think will happen in this 2017 legislative session. They'll develop rules and legislation, which we will bring back to you for further discussion and for policy direction from you all with regards to how we want to handle or regulate this, or if at all.
That's one of my reasons for bringing it, Mr. Williams, is because they hadn't said anything, any ground rules or legislation hasn't been read or put in place up out of Tallahassee yet, and won't be until at some point this spring during the legislation period.
So you're going to have, try to convene a workshop after session is over?
I think after we hear the game rules from Tallahassee, it would be prudent for us to act then. And another thing that I've asked is I've asked our development services to start working as we go, like issuing a beer license. We have I think it's a 1,500-foot restriction, is that the number? So we could pick to put us a map together with schools, churches, daycares and things like that, so that we can go around and draw a 1,500-foot circle or 2,000-foot circle, whatever distance we would determine, and see what that would give us, and see how we think that would work, if that's the route that we so choose. I've passed down the line here 65 different cities that have enacted different types of laws. And also, if anybody needs my assistant, I didn't have her copy them all out, but there's about 20 more ordinances here that other municipalities have enacted that she would be more than happy to make copies of and give them to your assistant so you can get them.
So, question then, if this, according to what the attorney is saying, if it has not been in place, what good of this, what will be the purpose of the ordinance then, if what the attorney is saying is not applicable to this? There's no rules yet. If the state has not given any to institute what the constitutional amendment has been, then what is your purpose of having this if they cannot do it anyway?
Well, obviously, they can do it because the states of Washington, Oregon, and Colorado, even though it goes against federal law, allows it to happen. So.
But the attorney is saying something different, though, John. That's what I'm
Well,
trying to
he's
say.
going
It's
by
conflict.
He's going by, based, and I don't want to put words in James's mouth, but based on federal law. But obviously, other states have enacted the rights for people to do both medical and
Recreation.
Right, you all have,
recreational. Thank you.
you all have no regulations
Right.
on this at all. And so, the state has already said in legislation that are preempt the regulation of grow facilities and manufacture facilities, and these are huge warehouse facilities. But we do have the ability to regulate the dispensaries, so the storefronts which sell these. Now, by taking the position that you're not opening the door, you're prohibited, you're not allowing anything in under federal law. But if you don't do that, and you don't adopt this ordinance, you could very well tomorrow have a grow facility or a manufacturer facility come into your city, and we as the city are preempted. So we wouldn't be able to stop. We would take the position that it's illegal under federal law, but we could be in some kind of litigation.
Exactly.
So in order to
That's what I'm saying.
alleviate that, one way in which to do the tool, the mechanism, one of the tools and mechanisms that we have in our toolbox is this moratorium ordinance.
But this ordinance won't be done until February unless you have special calls, John. Because this is the last meeting of the year. If this is proposed, and it requires 2 readings as an ordinance, we're looking at March. And if you're going to be telling that spiel, what you're saying, the staff will probably tell, this won't be enacted until probably, March sometime? So you
We
would
could
have to
we could
move
get it
very
done by the
quickly,
middle of
John.
January.
You have to move very quickly.
Well, we could do it at the cow and then do another reading at the regular council meeting in January, too.
Yeah, because if you're trying to prohibit something with this ordinance, you can't wait.
I'm not necessarily trying to prohibit it. I'm just
No,
trying
you're
to
putting
get
a
a grasp
moratorium on
on what the effects are going to be on our community and
But it's still prohibiting. We're playing word chess
eventually
here.
we're going to have to allow them.
Right. So
Most
I'm just
likely.
saying, in order for you to accomplish this, you need to, you're gonna have to move swiftly on it with call meetings. So in support of what you're trying to do. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Roth?
Thank you, Mayor. John brought up an interesting point about the possibility of cost involved with training officers, recognition programs, and things like that. Even if we don't allow facilities in the city of Homestead, we're still going to need to be prepared for those incidences that may occur. And I think you mentioned there's a fund, John, that could be tied to some of that
The
training.
League of Cities is going to go to the legislation, the legislators this spring in their session and ask that a special fund be set up as a line item specifically for this to be an available source of reimbursement
For law enforcement and training
Correct.
and whatnot.
Well, for whatever expenses beyond a certain amount that a city may be put upon, the burden put on them.
Yeah, because there's no benefit to us allowing it in the city or not allowing it in the city, according to the attorney. There's no way to make any money off of those facilities. So how do we get reimbursed for the training of our police officers without affecting our budget?
Hopefully, we can get this special fund set up through the legislators this spring as we go up there and argue for our point and all that.
Okay, that's good. I have a second question. Maybe Development Services or the city manager's office may have an answer to it. Has anybody approached the city yet in reference to operating a facility like that in the city? And that would actually bring us to the purpose of doing this now, if that has happened, to help us be prepared for when, for zoning purposes and things like that, when it's time for these businesses to actually open up in our city. So has that happened?
Yes, we did receive a letter from one individual suggesting that he would like to open some dispensaries up in the city and that we would be hearing from him soon.
So that's kind of case in point now that we need to do something up here to help regulate it so they just don't come into the city and take over. So that, I like this idea. I think we need to put this moratorium in place. And I do agree with Jimmy and John that the sooner the better. Let us get control of this situation and be ahead of it. Be proactive with it. I don't want to overregulate people, but let's understand what we're actually getting ourselves into as well. So, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Williams?
Yes, Mayor, no, I'm understanding of what you're trying to accomplish. I just want to make sure, dealing with tomorrow, how we're going, what the staff is going to be saying.
Right, and going back to Councilman Roth's question, we all received, the manager forwarded us a letter.
Right.
Of that, and I had already spoken with him, and that came in after, so it just reiterated the fact that we need to get going on this, and that we need to, get a hold of it before it gets, the snowball effect. Because one of the things that I'm, that the licenses have been issued for the growers, or the, and two of them are right outside, within probably 5 miles, or they have businesses within 5 miles of the city limits. And I just don't want to see this be some, ground zero for dispensaries because of the closeness and proximity to the businesses that are there producing, so.
Yes. Okay, so is this part of the, can this ordinance be tweaked? Would you allow for some tweaking to be done to the ordinance?
Yeah, I mean, we can,
Or is it
we can do things.
set to where you have it, as relates to now?
No, this is a discussion tonight. Obviously, my preference would be a 12 months. That would give us plenty of time to work on it. But, if there's motions to be made, I'll certainly listen to whatever, or I guess that's how it would be, Matt, or not a motion, just more of a. Right. And we can discuss, if somebody has some tweaking they want to do, then we can discuss that quickly or not quickly until it's fully discussed and see, move it forward or not.
Question, in your ordinance or makeup of your ordinance, once we have gone through this 12-month process, could we, how many could be allowed? Let's say.
How many dispensaries?
Right.
Well, that would be something that we would discuss when we have our workshop.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
How many we would want to allow into the city.
I'm thinking forward, is that
Right.
in your moratorium or going forward,
And after I.
besides this ordinance?
Right, and after I thought about this, perhaps, we're asking for 12 months, obviously that's what I'd like to see, and, we could put in there if the rules come out and we agree with the laws and stuff that the state has set, we could, correct me, we could put a different, 9 months, or allow us the language that would allow us to go back in and shorten it and do whatever we need to do after, we have a workshop and we vote on how we wanted the dispensaries to be placed within the city limits.
Okay, all right.
The applicability, if you adopt regulations,
We can go back and.
then the ordinance terminates.
Right.
All right, thank you,
Or
Jim.
if we wanted to extend it, James, we could always extend it also, correct?
Well, there are limitations with regards to moratoriums and land development regulations. That's why I've cited case law that supports that legislative intent. And as long as we're able to show that we're making efforts with regards to analyzing and studying, then we have the ability to extend it. And normally, in circumstances like this, when we do a moratorium for a year period and we're still working on something, we'll do it in increments of 6 months.
Right. Okay.
I'm
Thank you.
fine. Thank you.
So if there's no other language that anybody would like to add, then we'll move this forward and.
Well, let me ask you a question, John. With regard to the other cities, I know the information talks about moratorium. What are the other cities? Are they in a 12 months, 6 months?
There's a lot of them that have adopted specific language as to, there's one municipality that in the state that has adopted language that there's one dispensary per 50,000 people. And they've got 51,000 people, so they're going to have one dispensary. There's just other municipalities have put, you can't go 2,500 feet within a school, a bus stop, a kid's bus stop, a church, a daycare, different types of things. So there's all different types, and Councilman Maldonado has a list, I believe, of about 60 of them down there that the league sent me that has different types of things and all different, and some people have just or wait, a lot of them are doing moratoriums of different lengths.
Well,
but-
that was what I was looking at. I mean, in the case of that list, a lot of those cities say moratorium, but they don't say 12-month moratorium, 18-month. I couldn't see it in there.
Yeah.
To
Yeah, there's a link. I mean, and I know Coral Gables adopted, and I don't know if
Yeah, I just think that's a shorthand version of what they've adopted. It just gives an indication and notes that they have a moratorium in place. But all moratoriums are time-specific with regards to where you draw the line in the sand, what the parameters of the time frame that
I
you're
know
talking about.
saw a couple, one or two of them are 90 days, hoping that the legislators have done something by that, but
James, is when the state weighs in, I mean, obviously, that could change everything, correct? Are we still going to have municipal oversight, or is the state going to come in and?
Well, I mean,
that brings up a good point, Mayor,
I mean,
because
I think the Florida League and all the cities have advocated for home rule power with regards to that. I wouldn't think that most cities would give that up. They would still try to assert home rule authority.
That is-
But anything's fair game in the legislative session with regards to, what they can do.
And that is one of the other major points that's going to be fought by the Florida League of Cities up in Tallahassee is the home rule, and the municipalities get full control of this as it proceeds forward.
So what we need, Matt, is just basically direction for you to go draft this ordinance, bring it back in the next CAL.
Well, we'll have a special call the night of the cow if we want to have first reading, and then we can wrap this up at the council meeting, at the next council meeting in January.
Well, there's some specific, because it deals with land development regulations,
But
there's
if
some
we-
timeframes and
I have
specifications
to
with
get the
regards to
notice.
first and second reading and notice. So if you all the direction is to move forward with this ordinance, we'll bring it to the Planning and Zoning Board at their meeting in January, and then to your meeting for first reading in January. And then we can deal with second reading.
The cow? Is that at the following cow?
So, well, my fear is, and
I
I wasn't
understand.
aware that this was going to be a discussion item tonight. Somebody dropped the ball on me. But my fear is that we're going to be having people knocking the door down and we're going to get into,
No matter what, you're safe because
safe.
it's illegal under federal law.
Yeah, I was going to say, right now, I mean, we just need to get our ducks in a row as quickly as possible, because your response is going to be, it's not allowed.
Right.
Until there's a policy from this board that says it is allowed under these rules or guidelines or circumstances.
That's correct, Mayor. So I wouldn't be too concerned that people are fishing and looking at stuff. I mean, this is a tool that we're going to utilize. It's better to have this on the books, safer for us, but that our position until this moratorium gets in place is that it's not a permitted use and it's prohibited under federal law at this juncture.
Mr. Williams?
My issue is, now that you've thrown that caveat in there as it relates to planning and zoning, why would this have to go to planning and zoning if we're just doing a moratorium on just to deal with the issue? Why would you send it to planning? It's planning and zoning's advisory as it relates to other things, but I understand since land use, what needs to be taken out of here to just deal with this ordinance as it relates to the moratorium?
Nothing can be taken out of it. If we're doing a moratorium that mentions zoning and any kind of zoning approval or where it might be located, it's a land development regulation, and under state law, if it's a land development regulation, your local planning agency, which is the P&Z board, has the duty and the responsibility to review it and make a recommendation to you. So it can't not go to them for review and recommendation.
And how long is that process?
Like, if you all direct this evening to proceed.
Your timeline?
It'll go to the P and Z in January, and I believe that meeting is.
if they don't have a quorum, what happens?
January the 11th. So if there's not a quorum then we'll proceed to the city council meeting in January. And then in between first and second reading,
You do understand the cow is on the 10th? And your P&Z meeting is on the 11th?
Yeah, he's talking about he'll bring it to P and Z on the 11th and us on
But
the
the cow
18th for the
meeting
first reading.
is on the 10th for the first reading. He's got to take it to P and Z before it comes back to,
No,
from
what
the
he-
cow.
I thought, you said, no, I think what they changed it to is P and Z on the 11th, us on the 18th, and then bring it back to us for a special call on the 14th of February, Valentine's Day.
Well, that's not what I understood, but okay.
Well, we can work out the details with regards to the process, but the goal would be to take it to P and Z in January, and then for you all to consider first reading in January, and then second reading as soon as you can afterwards.
Is anyone opposed to pushing, going ahead and pushing this forward?
No.
No one's opposed. Okay, so that's direction to go forward and bring it back in through the appropriate process so we can deal with it later. Is that all, Mr. Burgess?
That is, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so we did tab 20. Next item is the public comments. I'll open the floor for public comments at this time. I have Mr. Albert Diaz. Please, sir. Good evening, sir.
Hi, my name's Albert Diaz, 30805 Southwest 214th Avenue. When it comes, I know you guys already finished talking about it, but I totally say just, open the floodgates on that weed bill, because it's money. I mean, even if he says it's not money, it's money. If we can beat South Beach into legalizing weed, we can become an actual place people want to go to again, versus, that weird place in the back of Miami that everyone thinks people get killed at. It's like publicity. It's a good move, I think. And, yeah, I know you guys already voted no, so that's 12 months down the drain. Also, I wanted to say that when it comes to, and that goes to legalizing that, and, this generation, a lot of them want to do more farm work and stuff. So I was thinking if we put a halt more on residential housing complexes and stuff and focus on more of like a 1 acre sprawl per housing unit, we could really create a better infrastructure for the future of Homestead, and we could maintain like being a breadbasket for Dade County and South Florida, which is a way better infrastructure, in my opinion, than huge high-rises. Because if anything goes wrong, they depend on us. So that was basically all I wanted to say. Oh, and I also wanted to talk about Dr. McDonough, and what's going on there is really sad and just kind of really embarrassing. And I hope there's, just swift action on that. That'd be really appreciated. And I thank you all for your time, your services, and like the information you guys communicate up there. And thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Javier McDonough?
Javier McDonald, 19451 Southwest 234th Street. You guys were talking about codes, statutes, ordinances. Are the citizens of Florida are subject to those codes and statutes as law? I'm asking the question. Maybe
It's a comment section, so we're just taking
you
comments.
don't reply to questions?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll wait till I can ask questions at a proper time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is Ms. Gunn, Mariana Gunn? Mr. Matthew Oakley? Okie? Mr. Eric McDonough?
Hello, good evening. My name is Dr. James Eric McDonough. You have my address on file.
First, I would like to discuss the continued defamation of character carried out by city employees and elected officials against me, who apparently think it's okay to spread false rumors or write on official documents that I was Baker Acted and thrown in a mental institution is a way to discredit me. Anyone preferring not to find themselves as a defendant in a defamation or civil rights lawsuit is strongly advised to stop spreading such lies about me, and I'd like to let you know I already know who you are. Second, I would like to bring to the attention of the city that Merguido was off duty when he defamed me, and the city should not be defending him. I just gave you evidence proving this, but if you could let City Attorney Zeskine kindly stop making false statements that Merguido was on duty and get him to stop attempting to mislead judges, I would greatly appreciate that. In light of this, the city and Mr. Zeskine might want to find a new legal justification for the defense of Merguido other than Florida Statute 111.07, as Merguido was not acting within the scope of his employment. Third, I would like to address the knowing and willful violation of the public records law perpetrated by Public Information Officer Zachary Good, City Clerk Elizabeth Sewell, and City Attorney Sam Zeskine. They've all refused to allow me to personally inspect public records, as is my right under Florida Statute 119.07, Section 1, Paragraph A. However, I would like to thank Mr. Good and Ms. Sewell for, on the record, acknowledging the law, but claiming they were going to follow city policy and instructions of others anyway in violation of the law. It's also noted that Zachary Good sent false and defamatory statements to the media referencing me and Mr. Hill, and is now refusing to provide the records of who gave him these false statements, likely leading to more needless litigation. Fourth, I would like to address the fact that people cannot legally be trespassed from public property open to the public, and citizens have a right to use such space under both the Florida and U.S. constitutions. You might want to inform your officers of this key point of the law. Catron v. City of St. Petersburg would be a really great place to start. I then must thank John Thomas Monaco for not only falsifying his arrest narrative when him and Garland Wright falsely arrested me, but for also making the same false statements again under oath. I really appreciate that. In this respect, I would also like to thank Detective David Matta for also lying under oath in deposition. Surely they all knew cameras were recording every detail, and their actions in helping me expose corrupt and lying officers within the Homestead Police Department has been invaluable here. So again, I would like to thank them for their efforts. Lastly, I would like to thank Garland Wright for stating under oath the day of the August meeting that Manager Gressis had a closed meeting in his office with Chief Roll, Officer Wright, and others discussing trespassing me. A clearer picture of retaliation against my rights by Homestead Police Department being led by Chief Roll could not be had.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Homestead's kind of like a box of chocolates. You never know what false charge you're going to get. Y'all have a great evening. Good night. Look forward to seeing you next year in the deposition.
Mr. Kim Hill? Mr. Kim Hill?
Kim Hill, City of Homestead. I'd like to just tell you, reports of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. I'm back. Now, many men are born with prophecy. Others achieve prophecy through the study of history. Our upcoming month is going to be the celebration of Martin Luther King. I happen to went to college with Martin Luther King's son. Basically was mentored by some of the same individuals that walked with him. So I know a great deal about him. One story what I would like to share with you all was in 1968, he was in a very extreme melancholy mood. He was dismayed about what things were going on, and this was one of his lowest points. He set his head down, and he was in the room with his assistants. And they looked up, and Dr. King said, I think we've integrated into a burning house. And he just dropped his head. Harry Belafonte happened to be sitting on his side, and he looked and said, "Oh, what's wrong, Doc?" Doc dropped his head, but then he looked back up and he said, "Well, I guess we're going to have to be firefighters." Now, what I witnessed last month was this lady who came down, a white lady. Her name was Miss Miller. She belonged to a church. She went to discussing the issue of body cameras. And she looked over at Chief Roll and she said, your officers came out and they said, you're helping these kind of people, and used these derogatory racial slurs and everything about some kids. Not one of you guys went to find out who those officers were. Not one of you all came over to assist her in a sense. But that woman chose to be a firefighter. I choose to be a firefighter at this particular time. You know, you all, Miss Fairclough, you're sitting on the shoulders of people like Dr. King. And when you don't stand and speak for body cameras, for the lost, the left out, and the disenfranchised, and we have a discussion about marijuana, Mr. Burgess, for like 15 minutes over marijuana and facilitating marijuana, but you can't discuss a body camera. Mr. Raw, you have to rise up to the challenge. When you made that promise to Mr. Womble, when I was sitting right there and you said that you would place this on the agenda, but yet we're still waiting 14 months and you have not even held a discussion, I don't want to see you at a Martin Luther King celebration. And Brother Williams, Martin Luther King spoke about a transition. He said we have to come from we have to make a value adjustment issue. We have to come from a meism to a weism. That weism means that you're doing and using your position to be able to be brave enough to speak truth to power.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Vanessa Lynn McDonough?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Vanessa McDonough, and you also have my address already on file. I just wanted to come and address a couple of things. I find it generally disgusting the way a lot of these people that come up here and speak are treated. There's flagrant ignoring people, writing things down. Just people are taking the time out of their day to come here. They may be City of Homestead residents, and may be people affected by things being done in the City of Homestead. Give them the time and pay attention to what they're doing, at least put on the pretense that you care for what people are saying. Which leads me to my next point. I came here a couple of months ago with a very valid concern about what was most likely City of Homestead police officers making really atrocious comments about me online, about the various sexual favors I perform for them, all the different disgusting, lewd sexual positions they engage in with me. I provided each of you a copy of this. It was a preponderance of evidence that this was City of Homestead officers saying these things about me, all of which are not true. I feel like I don't need to say that. I gave the clerk an official complaint package, which was then handed to Detective Harris the next day. It took him less than 6 hours to give me a call and say, dismissed, no basis for investigation. I'm just dumbfounded that you could make that decision that quickly with the level of evidence I gave. But yet, it was okay for the Homestead Police to arrest my husband on an alleged charge that was far less severe than what was done to me. And by the way, that charge was dismissed, as was the other one, because there was no base for those charges. So I would really ask if any of you up here, if it was your wife who was being libeled all over the internet, would you just allow that to happen and think it was okay to dismiss an investigation because a police officer might be revealed as the person behind these acts? I don't think so. So I would ask Chief Roll and the police department to dig a little deeper and maybe take these complaints seriously and do your job and investigate them. It's disgusting. And just in general, the madness has to stop. There's corruption in the city. It's not systemic yet, but when you cover up for the bad apples, you just make this pile higher and higher and higher. Please, deal with the corruption from the inside. Don't attack the whistleblowers. They are innocent. They are calling out the problems, and what do you do instead? You arrest them, you trespass them. I know it's not easy to hear criticism. Nobody likes it, but that's not the way to deal with it. I'm coming here genuinely concerned for the city, and it's not going to get better unless you deal with the corruption inside. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Willie Womble?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council, citizens. Mr. Mayor, it brings me no pleasure to hear Many of our citizens come before you and explain what's going on out in the real world. It brings me no pleasure to see a mother cry before you because of what has been said to her. Mr. Mayor, that brings me no pleasure. For the past year, I have been before you with a request that you require body cameras as part of standard equipment for the City of Homestead Police Department. Since that time, New York Police Department has implemented and have saved over $150 million as a result of the policy decisions it made to require body cameras. While Homestead, on the other hand, has and will pay tens of thousands of dollars, if not millions, as a result of lawsuits in which citizens have been violated. This money could have been utilized for better pay for city employees, programs for our youth, or returned to the taxpayers. As I have stated before, the city gets nothing in return when we have to employ lawyers for the defense of the city. Yet we are willing to pay for lawyers or willing to trounce on the rights of citizens. Mr. Mayor, you stated in a meeting with Mr. Hill and I back in March that there were two committees doing a feasibility study into the practical use of body cameras. May I ask, Mr. Mayor, what has become of that study? I think the people have a right to know. Mr. Mayor, I promised the people of City of Homestead that I would work on their behalf. We made promises as politicians running for political office. Unfortunately, I was not successful. However, the promises that I made to the citizens of Homestead were promises that I made because I saw something wrong, and I will continue to work to make those corrections on the things that I see that are wrong. And I ask that each and every one of you continue to do the things that you promised the people you would do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Travius Smith?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council, General Public, Travius Smith. Address is 1261 Southeast 29th Street, Homestead, Florida. Mayor and Council, I'm here today just to compliment our police department. This past August, the Southwest Advisory Committee that I chair along with Councilman Williams, we had a backpack event that we have every year. And I just wanted to come to the mayor and council meeting to congratulate and compliment Chief Roll and his staff for an outstanding job that the community policing do with our events that we have every year, as well as our Thanksgiving event that we put on, which is a 2-day event in which one night we have a Thanksgiving dinner and the next night we give out turkeys, which this year we were able to give out about 4,500 turkeys. And without the help of the community policing division, there's no way we can make those events possible. So Chief Rowe, I commend your staff, Captain Washington, for what you guys do. You guys do a great job. Also, I want to thank Councilman Elvis Maldonado, who contributed to our backpack event. Also, Councilman Roth, who came out to our Thanksgiving dinner, and as always, Councilman Williams for allowing this board to put together several events. I also wanted to share the latest event that Councilman Roth had, which is the Shot with a Cop event. You know, what puzzles me is so many times we as a people tend to always promote the negatively that goes on in our community, and we forget to also pass on the positive things that goes on with our police interacting with the community. I looked on Councilman Ross' Facebook page, and it puzzled me that they had such a huge event, and we only had 2 shares and 44 likes. And that's the policing department interacting with our boys and girls and families right here in our community, but no one shares that. We're so quick to point the fingers at our police department, and we're so quick as a community and as a people to always go to social media, and we always post the negative things. But I challenge each and every one of you, if you're for the people of Homestead, if you stand for what is right, always remember at the end of the day to be fair, and also remember that the men and women in blue are humans just like we are. And if you're going to stand for what is right, stand for what is right, even whether you agree with it or not. Post the positive things. That's what we need to see happen more in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Homestead Rodeo Association, Mr. Jim?
Cowboy hats are back. Mr. Mayor,
Welcome,
council members, I just wanted to let you know about our upcoming rodeo. It's the 68th Annual Homestead Championship Rodeo. We've been a part of this community since 1949. It's an amazing annual event. We've been at Harris Field since 1958, and it's just a great community event, and we want to invite everyone out to come and enjoy it. I brought the Queen contestants to come up and say a few words. The biggest thing is we have advance tickets on sale online right now, so you could save money if you buy your advance tickets. We want to encourage everyone to come out and enjoy it. We're the only professional rodeo event in Miami-Dade County. So come out and enjoy it. I'll introduce Shella Diaz, and these girls will tell you about a little of the events that are
Only
going on.
I'll give your time to the ladies, but one at a time, only at the dais right now, okay?
Okay.
We've had to put some rules into place to keep
Okay.
the well here, so.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good evening. My name is Shella Diaz, and I'm running for Miss Rodeo Homestead 2017. I'm 19 years old. I graduated from Coral Reef Senior High School, and I'm now going to Miami-Dade College to study to be a flight paramedic. My initiative in running for Rodeo Queen is to spread the knowledge about our very own rodeo down here in the Harris Field in US 1. How we win is by selling the most rodeo tickets, so you can find either us at the end of this meeting outside selling tickets or online at our homesteadrodeo.com website, where you can select either my name or Sophia Hilton as the credit for it.
Let us get
we also
Sophia
have-
up there too. Let us get Sophia up here too, okay?
No, yeah, I will.
Okay.
We have a couple events that we have to keep the rodeo promoted. During the rodeo week, we have on a Wednesday our coronation date that starts at 6:30. On Thursday, we have two events, our Books in Bronx, which is where we teach elementary students about the rodeo later that day. Here, I'll just finish talking so that she can go up there.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the time. Thank you.
Yes, Sophia?
Hi, I'm Sophia Hilton. I am 16 years old. I was born and raised in Homestead, Florida. I am running for 2017 Homestead Rodeo Queen with Shella Diaz, and I have been riding for about 10 years. I did Girl Scouts for 10 years also. My sponsor is South Florida SPCA, and I've been helping out with them over a year now. And we are doing fundraisers and activities with the horses, and yeah. And I am also having,
Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, that's all the comment cards I have, so I'm going to close the public comment section. We're going to go to the business from the city manager. Any business, Mr. Manager? None. Mr. Attorney, anything from the attorney?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to request a couple of executive sessions, if you'll allow me just a second. In the cases of Judine versus the City of Homestead, case number 14-13594. Judine versus City of Homestead, case number 14-23896. Enright Kelsey Patterson, case number 816, PK 10552. Faddis v. the City of Homestead, case number 11-27981. Faust v. City of Homestead, case number 15-018177. And Lillet Sports at the City of Homestead v. City of Homestead, case number 12-8207. Thank you.
What were those numbers again? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, anything else, sir?
That's it. Thank you.
Business from the mayor and council, Mr. Roth. I don't have it, I'm sorry. Mr. Roth?
I'll be pretty quick. Just to piggyback on what Artavius was talking about for the Shop with the Cop, I wanted to point out a few things about that event. Last year, we had 30 police officers who showed up, volunteered their time, spent two and a half hours with 30 children in the community that otherwise would have gone without a Merry Christmas. This year, we had 50 officers who volunteered their time, about two and a half hours, to help kids in the community and share some laughs, some good times. If you don't appreciate what the men in blue do in the street, at least appreciate what they do for our children in our community. They're not out there working hard every day for accolades, for notices, for anything except for to protect the citizens that they serve out there. These men and women put their lives on the line every single day. That's all I want to say about that. Thank you, Chief, for what you do. Colonel, Major, Captains, we truly appreciate the hard work that you guys do for our community every day. And I just want to wish everybody a happy Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roth. Mr. Burgess, did you have anything else other than your two items?
I do have a couple.
All right, sir, you've got plenty of time here. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Brea, I know that if you could just make a public comment on, as we try to get that no U-turn sign, I know that you've been downtown a couple of times, and could you just share for the folks out there where we stand on the no U-turn at 152 in Northgate Place, please?
Correct. And after going to the county, I guess over 4 or 5 times already, finally we were able to meet with the head engineer of the traffic division, and they basically assured us that there will come some sort of resolution to that issue there. They're still trying. They have to follow a DOT guideline, which is a book about this thick, and have to make sure that they apply properly. So they're trying to find some way to make that work, and they feel like they have a good idea of how they're going to make it work. But I'll get back to you as soon as we hear some concrete design concepts and how they're going to make that work for now.
Thank you. And on that note also, on 152, if you turn right off at 312 and start going southbound, right past the entrance to the CVS and the hotel there, just to the south of that, there's a big dip in the road where on just a light shower, that road almost becomes impassable, at least a lane and a half become impassable. At some point, I know we did some work on the northbound side and alleviated some of the problem over there, but the southbound side is just as bad. I don't know why. It seems to be getting worse, whether that road is kind of sinking over there a little bit or what it is. But that road on just an average shower is impassable for hours, not with no drainage at all. So, if we could take a look at that, I certainly would appreciate it too.
Certainly will. We'll take a look at it.
Thank you. To our utilities director, several months ago, I brought up the fact that the lights were out on 328 east of 147, where we had some theft and stuff. And in that night also, I spoke about a utility pole that was struck down by a car and is laying there on the side of the road, just to the east of 147. I want to say it's about the second or third pole. That light is still laying there, broken, laying in the grass. And I got to suspect it's a liability, as I've seen people hit it with their bikes, that are riding their bikes in the grass to get away from the cars or something. I saw a little kid hit it. So if we could get somebody to address that, I asked about it about 4 or 5 months ago, and I thought it was going to be taken care of, but it's yet to be taken care of. And I know Priscilla would be in a panic about liability if she was sitting here.
You said east of 140.
147 on the northbound, where those street lights are along 328 there. Well, there's one that got struck, obviously, by a car, and it's laying there in the grass, and has been there for 5 or 6 months now, at least, that I'm aware of.
It's on 328?
Yep.
Okay, well, my apologies
That's
that we
okay.
didn't
I
get
know
it
we're busy and,
earlier.
and all that, but I just see that as a liability that somebody's going to get hurt on out there easily. And if we could either fix it or get it removed, at least until the, whatever proper parts come in, I think it would be a good thing. With that, I'd like to thank my council for their support on my 2 items tonight and tell everybody to have a great holiday season. Wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and be back looking forward to some rest and some food here over the next couple of weeks, and we'll get back to work in January. So thank you.
Mr. Burgess. Mr. Shelley?
Thank you, Mayor. Just one quick item. Probably a couple of years ago, I had brought forth an idea to do a community signs, electronic signs of some type over our main thoroughfares like Chrome Avenue, Kingman Drive, as a way of us being able to communicate what's going on in our city, but also double as emergency management signs, maybe find sourcing of monies through FEMA. I think at the time there were some dollars available. And so the idea was to get these signs funded as an emergency communication method, but also at the same time, when it's not being used for emergencies, to be able to use it to let people know about the events that are going on within our community. And so I'd like to get consent of the council for me to bring that forth again for discussion at either the January or the February COW. I need some time to talk with staff. I know there's been some law changes about that since the last time it was brought forward. But this came up because of the Tourist Advisory Committee. I was sitting in one of those meetings and some discussion about how do we communicate with our citizenry came up. And this was one of the things that I'd forgotten, had kind of languished over there and not been brought to fruition. So I wanted to bring it back to you guys for some discussion, if that's okay with you, on either the next January or February COW. Yeah, I want to bring it back for discussion, not tonight. I want staff needs a chance to vet this, to look at it, to look at what the legal ramifications might be, and then from there, potentially draft some language and then bring it back for us to discuss, whether it makes sense or in what form or fashion and what the rules might be if we were to implement such a thing. And the other thing I would like to also add that I didn't bring up the last time is, in addition to our major corridors, it would also be good to maybe look at doing something or getting, if we move forward with something like this, doing it in the Turnpike as well, and having a presence through the Department of Transportation on the Turnpike to let people know what's going on in our town, especially as we start revitalizing our downtown. It'd be great to find a way to have a form to communicate to those passerbys on their way to the Keys or other places of what's going on in Homestead that particular day, weekend, or week. So I'd like to add that as well as something for staff to do an analysis on and figure out how that would be done, to come back for us to have the discussion about whether that makes sense. Do you need anything?
No, just bring it back.
Okay.
Just bring it back.
And other than that, just same thing. Wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and looking forward to hitting the ground running and continuing all of the major projects that we have going on and all the juggling that we're doing and the good works that we're doing here for the city. So I wish everybody a happy holidays.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Maldonado.
Thank you, Mayor. I got a few items. This question to staff in regards to cell towers. I was up at the Florida League of Cities just our last month, or actually early this month, and it was discussion on providers starting to bring cell towers, mini cell towers into the city, and they're looking to partner with the utilities to kind of piggyback off of our utilities in order to provide and extend their wireless services. And obviously with the use of cell phones and the data from that, the problem that they're having is obviously what they want to do is expand their services and kind of fill the needs of those holes that we have within the city. I'm sure we're all aware that over on the east side on Waterstone and Malibu Bay and some of the Oasis area, there's hardly any reception for cell phones. If I'm on a phone call, my phone call's always dropping, and so I'd like to figure out, start having this discussion, because I think it's coming. They're going to be, if they've not already reached out to us to meet with us, I'm pretty sure there will be soon. Just want to see how we're going to proceed with that, because their way of communicate or extending their network is to piggyback off of our light poles. How are we going to be benefiting from that, and how do we get all those providers to play fairly? So that's something I want to bring up. Jerry, maybe do you have any information in regards to that, or anyone in staff?
Councilman, we periodically get applications to go ahead and set up cellular towers in the city. Obviously, we coordinate with the development services as well as general services. Vendors that are going to go ahead and do that in the city have to register as telecommunication providers. There's a bond that they have to provide. And so once we get them through that process, we start talking, once again, to development services, also public works, to get permits for the rights of ways. And so depending on the situation, sometimes they'll have to do a study to show that there isn't service in a particular area. And in those cases, they have been able to put up towers. But if they can't show that, they basically co-locate on our existing water towers. But we're constantly getting applications.
Now, in regards to, for instance, one of the providers that were at the meeting was, I believe, Verizon, and they were kind of showing a model where they were working with utilities through their power, through their light poles, and when they're putting mini antennas on there. Again, I guess they're looking to kind of approach the cities in regards to this. Have we been approached by that, or maybe is it something that we should be looking to as well?
No, not Verizon.
All right. Well, maybe that's something, and maybe we should have that discussion in regards to that, because it does look like a benefit where they want to use our utility poles to place small antennas to extend the network. I think it would be a benefit for, some of those areas that don't have the data. And again, I know that in my area, we're hurting in that area. So I would like to see something in regards to that. But then again, we'd have to see how it works out with all the providers and how they work with the city. So that is something that they will be approaching, and maybe we should follow up with them in regards to that. I'll give you some more information if not.
Yeah, if you could provide me the information, I could put them in touch with the right people on staff and definitely take a look at that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Second would be in regards to, so I'm driving up the turnpike of last week. There's one of our city Homestead trash pickup trucks, the ones that pick up our daily trash, solid waste. What's the procedure in making sure that we're not dumping garbage on the way up there? Because this one truck was just dumping a bunch of trash on the way up, and I didn't stop to take a picture of it, recognize it, because I had to get somewhere quick. But I did see that. I was very embarrassed to see that. And so I'd want to make sure that there's a policy in place. And if they're not following the policy, then.
Well, there definitely is a policy against that. That is against, all sorts of operational requirements for that type of operation. We'll make sure to bring it up at the next safety meeting and that we have with the staff, and make it a priority to make sure that they're not doing that. But the vehicles are equipped with nets per se that stop the debris from going off. So there may be a tear in a net or something like that. So we'll make sure that the equipment is working properly, and also that the operators are aware of what they're supposed to do, and in those type of conditions they may have not noticed, it's going up behind them. But anytime something like that happens, if give me a call, or you don't have to. Just tell me where they're at, and I'll probably be able to figure out who the driver is. I don't need a lot of information, because we can find out where they are just by who they are, by where they are.
Usually
Exactly.
I'll either just call the manager and let him know what's going on right away. I've done that in the past, and
Correct.
he relays that information to you. But I did see that, so I just wanted to put it on the record.
Absolutely.
Make sure you guys are on top of it. I really did not want to see that again. Again, it's very embarrassing for us.
I don't want to see it either, and if I do see it, I will definitely take action.
Okay, thank you. Those are the two items that are city-related. I just want to, just take a moment to recognize the city manager and the staff. As I kind of reflected that this is the last meeting of the year. It's been a phenomenal year. I think we're sitting in a brand-new city hall. Our new police station is almost built. Our Seminole Theater is up running. It's been a phenomenal year. So to all of staff, to everyone that's sitting here, kudos to you. I think we've done a great job. I'm sure there's always room for improvement and for greater things. But nonetheless, thank you for all that you guys have done, because it's been a great year. I'm truly honored to be serving up here and kind of being part of the policy team to make sure you guys are doing a great job. So thank you for that. Now, Chief, you and your staff, again, same thing, great job. You guys are in a temporary location. You've gone through a lot this year. Thank you for the way you've handled our incident yesterday. It was surprising that I saw you in a picture helping the man that was shot, the guard. I didn't expect to see our chief there next to, the person that was doing their job and was injured. And so it was a great honor and joy to see that, and within an unfortunate but pretty surprised and shocked, but at the same time proud to see that you were next to that gentleman, knowing that our chief is standing right next to that person. So, and I know that's who you are and that's what you do. So thank you. Again, the way you guys handled that yesterday was great. An unfortunate incident. Again, it's been a tough year and you guys have done a heck of a job. So kudos to you guys. My hat's off to you guys. And again, and last to this mayor and council, again, we've had a great year. I think they've all accomplished what they've accomplished because they know that we have their support. And it's good to know that I'm working with some colleagues that are phenomenal. No one really knows what we go through on a daily basis and all the work we do, all the phone calls we take, all the time that we take to help out. It's kind of an unseen work that's done, but I know because I also sit here and do the same thing, so I recognize that, and I want to say thank you as a citizen of Homestead for what you guys do in the city and how much you give of your time and all the great things you've accomplished. I'm honored to serve next to you. I want to wish everyone here a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Let's take this time to reflect on the year and to reflect on our families and what's important as we move forward and to starting all over. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Manager, would you just highlight a little bit what Councilman Montal just brought up about what the chief was? Because I know no one might not know what you're talking about.
Yes, thank you for that opportunity. I was hoping we'd have one more bite at the apple. I did want to make mention the chief was one of the first responders to the scene at the bank, and when he got there, the injured security guard was on the ground, and the picture that you're mentioning is the chief basically there responding to an individual who was in distress. And it's very rare in a city to see a chief of police that's out there and responding like that. So that's kind of what you get when we're a city. You get a certain amount of small town approach to things as well. And when you get the chief of police showing up in an incident like that, it really stands out. And of course, the department responded amazingly as well to that. So Major Kennedy and everybody else, captains and Major Colonel and Major Sincor, and everybody involved with that incident. We're very grateful for what you do as well. And I do thank you, Councilman, for mentioning this year, because there is, when government functions well, it usually is because it starts at the top. And when you have an elected body that's functional, that's collaborative, and no, they don't agree all the time, but on the big issues, they find a way to build consensus and build unanimity for the big issues, and have the vision and the courage to stand up for the big issues and move them forward. When you see a productive year like that, it first starts at the top. And normally, it starts at the top because the citizenry expects functional government as well. And so thank you to the public as well for setting that standard. And then finally, thank you to the city staff who have been working really hard. This has been an amazing, productive year, and we have a whole lot to show for it. And what we lose sleep about is we got a whole lot more stuff to do next year, and so it doesn't seem to stop. But we're very excited about the future, what's happening now and what's to come. And there's a lot of very exciting things coming this upcoming year. So we look forward to your continued leadership and support, and to the staff. No rest for the weary. We're going to continue to do what we have to do, but we want to make you proud, and we appreciate it's a privilege to work in an environment where people allow the staff to do their jobs and to risk failure, because some of the projects that we're doing are very weighty projects, and they are inherent with risks. And you read in the paper very regularly about public works projects where they're over budget or they're delayed, and we haven't seen any of that because we've been working really hard every day to make you all proud. And I thank you for that and wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, and onward to better and bigger and better things.
Thank you, sir. And just for the record, that was a armed security, what was it? Not a Brinks truck, but that was, I mean, that's a money wagon. So it was a very serious incident that took place, and thank you, sir. Mr. Williams, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. A lot of campaign speeches tonight. George, are you running for anything? Elvis, are you running for anything? All right, yeah. Let me first do this before the chairman. February 18th, the Southwest Advisory Board is a very busy organization. February 18th, 2017, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Harris Field Farm Share, we will be distributing and feeding, our goal is 1,000 families at Harris Field on February 18th. On March the 24th, 2017, we have a college fair at FICO Williams Community Center from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., working with all local and Tri-County high schools to get over 2,000 juniors and seniors to help them or to facilitate their applications to college or trade schools or whatever they may like to do. We also like to have a CRA commercial workshop. I think is tentatively coming up for the spring for business owners within the CRA to let them know that we do have some funding to help with their businesses as far as facade, to help increase their commercial property, and that would also help with our residents and making sure that we are pro-business and we support our small businesses here in Homestead. Then the last one of the events we were really planning is to hold some kind of event for first responders, for our first responders that go out into the field, not only police officers, but firefighters and those who are first responders, to have some type of event for them, dedicated to them for what they do when they go out. And it's an August task to do. And so that's what we're planning coming up in the next few months here. So there's no rest for the weary with George, as you would say. We are still on the work as it relates to projects that we're doing in the Southwest Advisory Board. And let me thank the chairman for being here tonight as he provided excellent leadership to that board. Also, I want to go back to the towing. I'm still seeing signs that says Alpine towing. What has been our mobilization to facilitate in those complexes that they don't have a business license here, they don't have an operating towing company here, but yet some of the complexes are still utilizing their businesses. So where are we with the towing companies and regulating those entities?
Mr. Manager?
Councilman, we're going to get back to you with a report. I know that we had a couple of people from staff, unless you want to talk about that now. I know there was some calls that were going to be made. Jerry?
Councilman, I know direction was given several months back to go ahead and give everybody a 45-day notice, if I'm not mistaken, at all the HOAs or anything of that nature. And I know code enforcement and the police were on it, and those notices were handed out. But we could definitely get you a better updated report at the next council meeting.
Okay, great, because we really need to do that in all the complexes or commercial areas I was in. They all still have the signage up, and it's been more than 45 days for compliances on that, and I really like to really see that be done swiftly and with power from what we have established. as it relates to that. So hopefully not hopefully, but I would like to have a report on what the challenges have been, or what has happened as it relates to that report. Also, let me highlight for the record that we would all be on the same page. As I'm hearing about workshops of different natures, I've had on the docket to talk about the shotgun property in the southwest area for almost 2 years. And I've not been able to get a workshop. I've not been able to get anything on the agenda to have a discussion, even about the Southwest Master Plan. And so, I don't know what to hold up. I've tried getting sunshine meetings with the mayor. I've not been able to get a sunshine meeting with the mayor. I don't understand what we must do to bring some redevelopment over there in the southwest area. So maybe, hopefully after the first of the year, that some of these attentive items could be attended to, which are very important to me and very important to the community. That shotgun property, as what we relates to on Lucy Street, was the intent to rebuild something there for the community, for housing, workforce housing, whatever, elderly, whatever we want to do. But we need to do something then allow that property to sit to where it is. And so, I've spent 2 years talking about this and no action has been taken. So I'm not sure what else I need to do to get it on the agenda in order that we might have a vibrant discussion about it. I respect all of my colleagues. I kind of support every colleague up here when they have their issues that they like to see through, whether it's tourism, whether it's a trolley, whether it's marijuana, whatever it is. I'm very accommodating, and all I'm asking is that we bring some much-needed attention to the Southwest residential area. Not talking about downtown. I'm talking about the residential area and things that need to happen, that the people over in that residential area might have better opportunity for living accommodations. So I'm open to dates and times, and I think I've worked with everybody up here to forward their agenda. My agenda is the Southwest area and Lucy Street and those shotgun houses. I brought a organization here before. We asked all kind of questions. We said, "Oh, it's too fast," and then it just died on the vine. And so, what else do I need to present to my colleagues in order for them to get a workshop or something on the agenda of this magnitude, so we can at least have some discussion and direction for the manager to do? Because right now, we're not doing much of anything other than cutting the grass. And I think this is the silence I've been getting for 2 years.
Set up a meeting.
Set it up, I'll be there.
I'm there.
We'll put it on the agenda. Mr. Manager, we'll do something first part of the year. Let's just put it on and start talking about it. Do it in a committee of the whole, and we'll just figure out what our options are, if there's restrictions, whatever the deal is, let's just talk about it. And there's other properties down there as well that are prime for development as well, that aren't necessarily under city ownership.
Right.
But are large, nice tracts of land that, we could possibly do something with as well. And, at some point in time, we've had this discussion kind of around the edges, but the Southwest Master Plan is a really good roadmap, but it's also got some big hurdles in it. And we need to find out if those hurdles, if we can identify those hurdles that are causing so much lack of, or potentially so much lack of progression in the Southwest community, if it's the will of the council to take those out, then we should have some sort of a conversation about that. And I know everybody's busy, but I think the councilman's correct. There's opportunities in the Southwest, and for some reason, if it's the master plan, I don't know, if it's whatever it is, but there's opportunities that we should take a look at as a policy board, so.
Yeah, people are knocking on the door, Mayor, and they want to do something. And I think, if not mistaken, George, didn't you attend a meeting with Mayor Wallace and I, and with the county, with Dennis Moss, actually, trying to do a project together in what they were doing? And I talked to Commissioner Moss, and he said, well, Florida City's on it. And they, so it's kind of embarrassing to have where Moss has got money allocated for the area, and we're not moving, we're not progressing, and Florida City will end up with all of it if we're not, And so when the county commission says, I want to do something in that area and spot, then I just want us to at least do what we can to not slow down the process, but to enhance the process, and to help develop that area for that community that is so badly needed in that. So, George, you remember that meeting we had? I think it was very, very good meeting, and Commissioner Moss was very projective of what he wanted to do simultaneously, and we had ideas two buildings going up at the same time, and so that it wouldn't look out of place. And so those kind of conversations we've had, we're just waiting on us, Homestead, my colleagues here on the dais, to help move this forward. So thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that you're getting it on the agenda, and that we can have a frank discussion about it. And thank you, George, for that. I look to see you all back in January, and I wish peace and prosperity to your families. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Shelley, did you have something?
Yeah, Councilman Williams opened the door when he talked about the Southwest Advisory Committee and FarmShare holding an event on the 18th. FarmShare also is having an event tomorrow at 14125 Southwest 320th Street. It's their holiday food giveaway event. They're hoping to feed over 1,000 households or 1,000 families. They'll have chicken and canned goods and produce and breads. And so I encourage anybody that knows a needy family that's looking for food for the holidays to make sure to notify them and let them know there is a place for them to find food. And anybody that wants to come and volunteer, please feel free to come out and volunteer. They could use all the help they can get.
What's the address?
And that's from 9 to 12 tomorrow morning.
Address. The address?
14125 Southwest 320th Street. So it's Maury and near Speedway. It's in that vicinity over there. And it's a drive-through, so they just need to bring their car, they'll open their trunk, and they'll get filled with as much food as it'll hold.
Oh, my.
Sound like a deal.
I'm bringing 2 cars.
Thank you, sir. Just got Julio, we keep talking about this 328th Street project, and it's next month, it's next month, and it's next month. And when is it now? Next month, again?
Well, actually, I knew that question was going to come up, so I spoke to them about it. They are right now in the process of relocating FPL poles to get the whole right-of-way ready for the construction. They expect the actual groundbreaking to happen in March 7th of 2017. They've had the pre-construction meeting. They're set to go, but that's the date that they have on their calendar. Right now, they're clearing up the right-of-way to get it ready for construction.
Any idea about the build time? Because, right now, the chief and I was headed eastbound, and he was headed westbound, and we were stopping and having about a 10-minute conversation in the traffic jam the other day. And so it's kind of a problem over there. And how long is that construction project going to?
That construction project is 18 months. Again, they're hoping to get it done earlier than that because the contractor, there are some early finish bonuses if they finish early, but that's the date that they have in their contract right now.
Do you have something, Mr. Manager?
Just for the record, though, it's not our project, right?
It's not our project, it's the county project.
Just want to make sure that's not our project.
And actually, we're calling them constantly, trying to push them along, and in any way we can help them, we'll do that, but it's not our project.
I know. Well, it's become really a problem. We don't have really good east-west connectors. Our Campbell Drive is a problem, and 328 is a problem. So, we just need to keep the public informed, because I know a year or so ago, we were sitting here talking about it was another month, we were going to start. So granted, it's a county project, but it's a severely overused roadway. It's backed up all the time, especially in the morning and afternoon. So just keep pushing. Chief, can you do me a favor for the council? We've got on Chrome and 11th and Chrome and Southwest 4th, that there are accidents one right after the other. I know that's FDOT. I was down at Carl Pelt the other day, and there was a motorcycle, out in the middle of the road, got sideswiped or got, run into by a truck, and it's all the time. So I know it's going to be an uphill battle, but we have to start building our argument to FDOT for some sort of relief there. I mean, like we said before, how many bodies, what's the body count got to be? Give us a number so that at least when that number is met, we know that triggers some action from DOT. Because it's really, you white knuckle it when you go through there all the time. So I think we politically have to start pushing, DOT to give us some sort of relief there. And I know with 4-laning at the 11th Street intersection there, I don't know how that's going to affect, but it's not going to make it better. Let me say in my mind. So if we could start, trying to get ahead of the curve, building the statistics, whatever that may be, and then we can pass it around up here, and each of us can, kind of lobby or push buttons, because it's gonna take that. It's gonna take that. We have appointments to the Tourism Advisory Committee: Mr. Tim Craig, Hugh Hudson, Rosa Brito, Daniel Dawson, Kevin Gregory, Daniel Torres, Justin Unger. Is there a motion to approve those appointments? Move it.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
I also want to announce, we've got some openings on the Planning and Zoning Board. We've also got an opening on the Firefighters Pension Board. So if council members have any recommendations, have them obviously fill out an application, get it to the clerk so that we can do an analysis and fill some of these boards up. I know, Mr. Roth, you have some board appointments that we didn't get on this agenda. Get them on the next agenda for consideration, so we can start out the first of the year with a full talent level on our boards. So, Mr. Williams, Mr. Williams?
Question on your firefighters pension board is, what's the composition of the firefighters board? Do you know?
No, sir, not offhand. We can get the clerk to get that to you.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. And then the 4th Street, the what you're saying about most of the time, if I'm coming from 4th Street to Chrome, those cars that sit there on the side, it's hard you have to almost be in the road in order to see. I know it's DOT, but could we do something to prohibit them from parking on the side so close to the stop sign? Because once you ease out, you have to almost be in the middle of the road in order to see what car is coming from there. And if there are cars on the side that's next to the oil shop or whatever it is, mechanic shop, I mean, you can't even, it blocks your entire view. So is that also what you're making reference to?
That's been the situation, because that is FDOT regulated, and they have this standard model that they go by.
Well, it's
And
horrible.
It's horrible. So what we've got to do is we've got to start, in essence, figuring out what we can do, and then if it takes the political forces to kind of push FDOT into giving us some relief, that's what I'm asking for, information, so that we can, because I think part of the problem the other day with that motorcycle, I think there was a tree limb that was a little bit low. You got a pickup truck, he's sitting, higher than a car, maybe just that little bit of an obstruction of a tree limb, and you didn't see the motorcycle. And so the guy gets airlifted out of here, and that's just one of many that happens on that intersection.
Okay.
So, let's just start building the case and start building the argument, and then we can start pressing DOT for incremental, improvements, or whatever our options are, but we need options. Julio?
Yes, and what's crucial in these type of cases is historical data. That's what they look for. Everybody's got opinions, and they don't want to listen to that. They want to hear how many accidents happen, how many fatalities. That's what's going to get us an improvement in that intersection.
And that's why I'm asking the chief to, help us compile that. Chief?
Back maybe 10 years ago, at Maury and 6th Avenue,
Yeah.
we had about 26 fatalities there and it took a fatality where 2 kids were killed before we got a light there.
Well, it was that one where there was a truckload of workers that got T-boned, and I think there was more than 2 killed in that accident, because we sat here and we asked specifically to the county, just tell us how many people have to get killed.
Absolutely.
Before we can get a light at that intersection. I remember having that conversation from Ms.
Absolutely.
Dias.
We every year we go through this, we try to talk about, intersections and try to get lights or stop sign or something. And, it just, I guess it's a lot of money for a light. I don't know how Mr. Burgess worked his miracle to get one at 152 and the intersection down there. That was a miracle. But,
Yeah.
yeah, that was amazing. Though.
Well, look, and guess the bottom line is, those are 2 that are glaring to me personally.
For sure.
They're, if you have, and I know that one's particularly difficult because it's FDOT.
Yeah.
County's going to be very, very hard.
Oh, yeah.
FDOT is going to be like climbing Mount Everest. So we've got to start building that data pool now, and start building our case and start picking away at this, because I think that we're going to have real serious problems when you see 4-laning of chrome, and I think it's going to be a problem.
Just think how long we've been dealing with the truck bypass.
Well, I know, 1997. I wanted to also say, and I know everybody's ready to go, but I want to compliment the staff for everything that's been done. I know you're overwhelmed. Everybody is just up to their eyeballs in trying to keep everything going and juggling so many things. And you're doing a really awesome job of doing that. And just please know that it is appreciated. And Chief, I know this, people have been lobbing grenades at the PD, and it's tough to sit here and have to take it, but sometimes they have to vent. I think that you and your staff do a really great job, and we need you to keep doing that really great job. And unfortunately, you can't make everybody happy. We can't make everybody happy in politics. But again, like I said before, don't stop doing what you're doing because of a few people that haven't been able to be satisfied with the results of what took place.
Thank you.
Mr. Manager, I want to say to you, again, thank you. You built a great team, and you've got a great leadership style. You get a little agitated sometimes, but you got a lot on your shoulders, and we do appreciate it, and thank you for that. And the council members, I've said it before, you guys are incredible, and it's an incredible working team, and we get a lot of stuff done because we work together, and that's been the difference. And I can't do anything but applaud all of you. And with one final thing I want to say to all the public and everyone, look, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. Take a break, sit back and enjoy your families, because next year is not going to be fun. It's going to be busy. It's going to be really, really busy. When you just look at what's coming up. So let me ask one final question. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? All in favor? Motion carries.